Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us and welcome to the 2026 Post-Retiree Benefits Information Session. My name is Tammy Weaver. I'm a Senior Benefit Analyst in the Benefits Department. My primary focus at the university is working with the retiree population. Thank you for joining us and welcome to open enrollment. We are very excited to have you here and present you with the changes and updates for your post-65 retiree benefits. However, before we get started, just a few administrative announcements. First, attendees, you are all muted throughout the webinar. Only the vendors can unmute for purposes of answering questions. We ask that the attendees use the Q&A to submit questions. We have people monitoring this. If we are able to answer these quickly, we will answer them. If not, we'll hold them for at the end during our Q&A session. We will engage our vendors that are in attendance with us to assist us with answering these as well. There were also questions that were submitted prior to the webinar that we will also try to have our vendors engage and answer during that Q&A as well. If there are questions that seem a little bit more personalized, we'll probably hold those and try to reach out to you more directly after. We also will have a recorded version of this website, and we'll place it on our retiree website probably 1 to 2 hours after the session has ended. Again, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you find all this information very helpful. Okay, so to start, we'll do a quick introduction of our vendors and guests. We'll do a quick benefit overview of what to expect in 2026. We'll discuss changes, how to choose a new plan. We'll move into our vendor presentations, discuss next steps, how to enroll. We'll provide you with some resources and reminders, and then we'll move into our Q&A. So let me introduce who's in attendance with us today. From the University of Pittsburgh, we have myself, Kate Young, Kim Phillips, Brittany Turley Friend. From Benefit Management Services, or BMS, as you know, Terry Thompson. From Davis Vision by MetLife, we have Bill Thomas. From Highmark, we have Tyler Quinn. From UPMC, we have Patsy Maxim and Maggie Ryan. From United Concordia, we have Rosanna Terramana. From the Hartford, we have Josh Edgerton. And we have a special guest today from Osher, Lisa Scharfstein. Okay, we're going to move into what to expect in 2026 from an overview perspective. The Divine Dollar benefit credits in 2026 will remain the same at $401 per month. There will be a slight increase in medical premiums. The medical plan designs and copays will remain the same. Under our prescription drug plans, you'll see a slight change under the UPMC plans, under the Tier 3 and Tier 4 medications. We will dive into this more shortly. The out-of-pocket maximum, annual maximums for the Medicare prescriptions will increase from $2,000 to $2,100. For our dental plans for 2026, there will be a small increase in the premium this year from $2,107 to $2,287, but we will also have some enhancements to our dental plan as well. We will dive into these enhancements shortly. For the vision plan, there will be no increase in premium, no cost or plan design changes. The rate will remain the same at $798 a month. The design plans will remain the same. Cost allowances will remain the same. Detailed summary guides for both the dental and the vision can be found on our retiree websites. For the 2026 medical plan premiums, all 6 Medicare plans saw slight increases in premiums as highlighted on this chart. This was approximately a 3% increase across the board. The impact is seen more on the medical supplement plans, as the increase now pushes the premiums over the 401 DDB credit allowance threshold, as highlighted in this middle column. The retiree responsibility under the National Comp Plan is now $11, and under the Highmark Signature 65 plan is $39.58. It is worth noting that retirees have had the ability to bank the surplus DDB credits and can still use these credits towards monthly payments. The far column on this spreadsheet shows the retiree responsibility under the old plan. What is the old plan? The old plan, when we refer to it, is the retirees who retired prior to the DDB program inception, July 1st of 2004. These retirees continue to have a responsibility for cost sharing for the UPMC National Comp Plan and the Highmark Signature 65 plan, the 2 supplementary plans. If they would switch from the old plan to the DDB plan, these individuals would see a significant cost savings in this plan. There are no differences in these 2 plans. All the difference would be is cost savings in switching. So if you're interested in switching from the old plan to the DDB plan and saving money, all you would need to do is contact BMS for assistance, and they would help you switch those plans, and you would see that cost saving immediately. When can I make changes to my plans? Well, right now. This is the time of the year that you should be looking back, reviewing your plans, reviewing costs, reviewing everything about your medical, dental, and vision. Open enrollment is now November 5th through December 3rd. This is the time that you can make your changes, and the changes that you make now will go into effect January 1st of 2026. Outside of enrollment, open enrollment, the only time you can make changes is if you experience a qualified status change, such as a loss of coverage, death, divorce, change in a permanent residency. If you do experience a qualified status change outside of open enrollment, we do ask and remind you that you need to let us and BMS know within 60 days of this qualified status change so that you can make a change in your benefit elections. If you do not let us know in that time frame, then you do need to wait until open enrollment in order to make those changes. Next slide. Which plan should I choose? Each year, when you're looking and reviewing all the plans, making a plan selection often is a personal choice. It often depends on maybe where you're residing also. The university offers 6 Medicare plans for you to choose. If you live outside of Western PA, the Advantage HMO plan obviously might not be your best option because it's a network-based option that you must reside in Western PA. If you reside out of state, you may want to consider reviewing one of our PPO plans, or even maybe one of our Medicare supplement plans, the Signature 65 or the National Comp Plan. As the supplement plan, your Medicare is considered your primary plan and is recognized nationally. We do encourage you, especially this time of year, to check all the differences between Advantage plans and supplemental plans. We provide a lot of information on our websites regarding networks, doctors, facilities, summary guides, plans to help you make decisions in choosing plans. Also, when looking to make choices for benefit plans, one of the resources that may be helpful is our medical plan comparison guide. This grid can be found on the Retiree website, and it highlights some of the top medical services. It shows comparison of all 6 plans across the board. It gives a snapshot of these plans laid out together with deductibles, copays, out-of-pockets, co-insurance costs, just to name a few things. As previously stated, for 2026, one of the changes was going to be in the prescription plans. Also, when reviewing your benefit costs and prescription changes, when reviewing prescription plans and costs, the top questions are often asked: what will my monthly cost be? Is my drug a specialty drug? What tier does my drug fall into? Can I purchase this drug through a standard network or preferred network? A standard network usually involves a broader retail network with a higher copay. A preferred network usually gives you access to a lower copay. The changes in 2026 that you're going to see are highlighted here fall under the 4 UPMC plans, Tier 3 and Tier 4, that are highlighted on this chart. They are shifting from a copay amount to a co-insurance amount. We do have a representative here with us today from UPMC that is going to speak more in detail about the changes, provide some resources and suggestions to help you save if this is impactful. Next slide. So just a recap for 2026. For the 6 post-65 retiree medical plans, there are no plan design changes. The copays and deductibles will remain the same. The Medicare supplemental plans, the changes you will see are the out-of-pocket changes. The UPMC National Complementary will have that $11 a month retiree responsibility. The Highmark Signature 65 will have that $39.58 month retiree responsibility. And again, those retirees that have bucket DDB credits can use that bucket credits towards payment toward these monthly charges. Slight changes in the Tier 3 and Tier 4 payments toward prescription costs are shifting from those copay dollar amounts to the percentage coinsurance. And the out-of-pocket annual maximum amounts for the Medicare prescriptions for the covered Medicare medications is increasing from $2,000 to $2,100. The dental enhancements, and again, we'll get to those shortly, with a slight premium increase, and no changes to your vision for 2026. The next few slides we wanted to provide you are strictly resource information slides for you to review for Medicare fitness and wellness. These are for you to go back and review when convenient for you. The first is from Highmark on their Fit On program to assist on accessing gym information nationwide. And the second is from UPMC for silver sneakers, RX Well, and a few other items under their wellness program. Next, I'd like to introduce Patsy Maxim and Maggie Ryan from UPMC. They are going to briefly discuss the prescription changes we discussed for 2026. We will have opportunity at the end of the webinar for Q&A. So if you would like to hold those questions for the end. Next slide.
Hi, my name is Maggie Ryan. I'm a manager on the clinical pharmacy team at UPMC Health Plan, and I focus on the UPMC for Life products. And so Pitt and Patsy asked if I could come today to speak a little bit more about Part D information for 2026 with you all. So the first thing I wanted to mention was, and you may be familiar with this because this isn't a change for 2026, but each or your UPMC for Life formulary, which is the list of drugs that are covered by your plan, has 5 tiers. And similar to the slide that was shown a little bit earlier, each tier has a copay or coinsurance that defines what your cost share is for that drug. And your formulary lists the tier for each covered drug on the list. So you can see what tier a drug is on and then get an idea of what your cost share might be. So there's 3 phases of coverage for Part D. The first stage is the deductible stage, and the UPMC for Life PIP plan for you all does not have a deductible. So that's one thing that you don't have to worry about. The next phase of coverage is the initial coverage stage. And in this stage, it's kind of like what I just described. You would pay the copay or the coinsurance based on the tier of your drug on the formulary. And the slide above had those values, and then those would be listed in your plan documents as well. And then the last stage is the catastrophic phase. And this is the phase of coverage where once you've paid um, uh, your out-of-pocket max, which is $2,100 in 2026, you reach this page or reach this phase, and there's no cost sharing for any of your Part D prescription drugs. I also want to call out that some of what the plan contributes towards the cost of the drug may count towards that $2,100 limit. So it's very possible and likely that you reach that limit before you actually see on your, however you keep track of your expenses, or if you're following along on your Part D EOB, that you reach that $2,100 limit before you actually pay $2,100 out of pocket. So those are the 3 phases of coverage. Wanted to talk a little bit more specifically about the change during the initial phase of coverage for Tier 3 drugs and Tier 4 drugs having a coinsurance instead of a copay in 2026. And so this means that instead of having a set dollar amount that your cost share or copay is for these drugs, you would pay a percentage of the cost of the drug. Because every drug on the formulary has a different cost, and depending on the quantity that your doctor is prescribing you, so if you're taking 2 a day versus 1 a day, if you fill a 30-day supply or a 90-day supply, and where the prescription is filled, that could change the value that cost share percentage is applied to. And so that also means that it could change your cost share throughout the year. If you switch from a 1-month supply to a 30-day supply, or, your dose gets increased from 1 capsule a day to 2 capsules a day, that could result in your coinsurance or your cost share going up. And it does admittedly make it difficult to provide an estimate of what your cost share for a drug is going to be, because like I said, the cost of these drugs on these tiers varies greatly. So there's less expensive generic tiers that your cost share might actually go down as a result of this change because it's a less expensive drug. And there's also more expensive brand name medications, and then even specialty medications that cost thousands of dollars. So to say the estimated cost of a drug on tier 3 with a coinsurance is really difficult for all of those reasons. But some things to keep in mind are you can call member services and talk to member services about getting an estimate for your specific drugs or the drugs that you're on. There's also the cost share smoothing program, so the Medicare prescription payment plan, that if you have high out-of-pocket drug costs that you can enroll in, and those costs can be smoothed out essentially over the course of the plan year. So instead of paying the large coinsurance right up front in January for a 90-day supply, this program would take that amount and divide it out between each month that's remaining in the year. And that's also something that our member services team can help you with, uh, getting you connected to the area would get you enrolled in that sort of program. And then the other thing that I want to just mention as like relief for the coinsurance and cost shares on Part D is that $2,100 out-of-pocket max. So while that is still, a big number, it is definitely a safety net. You'll never spend more than that limit, and it's like quite possible that you spend even less than that amount before reaching the catastrophic phase where you'd pay $0. The one other thing I just wanted to mention that's different for 2026 is that Medicare drug price negotiation will start for 2026. And so what that is CMS or the government was able to negotiate prices with drug manufacturers for 10 Part D drugs that those prices will apply, to like all plans or all carriers. And those prices are published. So if you are taking one of those drugs, and you see that it's on tier 3 of your formulary, then you can take, the 25% cost share and see what the cost of that drug would be. And an example of that would be like Jardiance, I think is a common example. That was the only items that I wanted to talk about. I do see some questions in the Q&A. I don't know if you want me to. I think there's one around the $2,100 limit. I don't know if you'd like me to try to take a stab at that now or answer in the chat, or how you prefer us answering these
If you want to
questions.
answer that now, if you don't mind, while we're discussing it, I think that would work. If you can see it there, as far as it
Yeah,
says, can you give an example? Yeah, I don't know if you're able to read it at the same time, but
Yeah, I can see it. I'll read it. So it says, can you give an example of plan contribution toward a drug counting toward the $2,100 limit? How can we know in advance when this applies? So this starts to get complicated with like CMS, Medicare math, and plan math behind the scenes. But basically, our plans are enhanced alternative plans, which means that the plan covers some of the cost of a drug versus what you would pay if you just had like a defined standard, like a basic Part D plan. And so it's I can't say like for every drug the plan contributes like 10%. It doesn't really work that way. It's more so that like any difference between what you would have paid if you were in like one of those defined standard plans versus what you paid because you're in this enhanced alternative plan, UPMC picks up that difference and that difference applies. So the most straightforward way to understand it or see an example is for a $0 drug. So you'll pay $0. If your copay is $0, you would pay $0. But the defined standard basic plan would be like a 25% coinsurance. So that whole 25% of the drug cost would go towards your max, even though you paid $0. So that's like kind of the easiest example of when the plan would pick some of that difference up for you. But like I said, even like explaining it feels like complicated to explain in like pretty lay terms. So my recommendation would be like, if you're trying to understand where you are at, whatever time in the year where you are at and meeting that $2,100 limit, options are to call member services and they can look up that information for you. And it's also included on your Part D EOB that you would get sent monthly. There's like a section on that document that breaks down, where you are in these different phases of coverage. And so you can kind of see how close you are to meeting that $2,100 there. So that would be my recommendation to try to look for that for your specific scenario and the drugs that you've taken, at a given point during the year.
I think there's two other pharmacy questions. If maybe we could just hit those real quick, and then we can hold the other questions until the end, if that's okay, that are a little bit more general. It looks like somebody is asking, will there be any change to prescription coverage at CVS pharmacies? They received a warning from CVS that coverage might be ending.
Yes. So CVS will no longer be in the UPMC for Life Medicare network. So you would need to switch to a different pharmacy that's in the network. if you need assistance with locating a pharmacy near you, or if like CVS had delivery or different services that you liked and want to continue to take advantage of, member services can help again with looking up pharmacies near you. And then also there's the Find Care tool on the UPMC Health Plan website where you can search with your zip code, like what pharmacies are in network and what pharmacies are available to you with the lowest cost sharing nearby.
And then one other one for now, and then I know there's sort of a flood of them coming in that we'll hold towards the end here just to keep the presentation moving, but we will address them. When will the 2026 formulary be released so that they can check prescription coverage and costs?
Yeah, the formulary is, it should be, I believe it's posted online on our website now. So I don't know if it's okay for me I can pass that information along, like the link, and then can you distribute that, or what's the best way to kind of pass the link to the website where
And we have it on our website also.
Okay.
It's on the Retiree website as well.
And then, okay, so copy of the formulary. I think, there is a question like specific to Eliquis, that, around changing from $47 to 25% is a difference in $1,200 per year. So, yeah, I mean, definitely understand that like the brand drugs on that tier, the change in coinsurance, or change to coinsurance can mean a difference in cost, an increase in cost. It's not going to obviously be like that for every drug. Eliquis is also one of the drugs that's on the price negotiation list. And so there's that. And then also, the change from copay to coinsurance does mean that like the amount that you're contributing towards the out-of-pocket max will go up. And so even though there's that change happening, you may reach the catastrophic phase faster than you would have if it had remained a copay, the $47 copay. And so you'll kind of get caught by that safety net and move to $0 more quickly. So just a couple of things to think about with that example.
Maggie, before you go on, because I know there are some other questions here in the chat, maybe you and Patsy, because some of them are a little bit more personal. Maybe if you wouldn't mind jumping in the chat and answering a couple of those like privately. And then
Yeah.
Tammy, if you want to continue just to move it along, because I know we have a few more things to get through, but if you guys wouldn't mind taking a quick look on the side while Tammy's moving on, if that would work.
Yeah, that
Thanks,
sounds
Maggie.
great. I actually do need to
Okay.
drop too for another call, so I can stay on and monitor the questions, and then if anything else comes up related to pharmacy, Part D, happy to assist.
Okay,
Yep,
thank
we
you.
can also get questions to you as well, Maggie.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, great.
That's fine too. Thank you so much.
Great. Yep, thank you. Okay,
Bye.
great. Thanks. Next, I'd like to introduce Rosanna Termana. She is our new National Service Executive from United Concordia. She is going to highlight the new enhancements for our dental program for 2026.
Thank you, Tammy. Appreciate that. And I wanted to thank you on behalf of United Concordia for the opportunity to be able to continue to serve your dental needs in 2026. As Tammy mentioned, I'm Rosanna Terramana, and if you have attended these sessions in prior years, you may remember Megan Rosing. Megan, my colleague, decided to retire a few months ago, so we wish her the best of luck and congratulations on a very well-deserved retirement. During today's presentation, I'm going to tell you about your 2026 plan, which includes some enhancements to the benefits. First off, for those of you that may not be familiar with United Concordia, just a brief history. We have been a dental carrier for over 50 years. We're a wholly owned subsidiary of Highmark, and we currently serve 10.4 million members across the country. And those members include those that are enrolled through employer-sponsored coverage, Medicare and Medicaid recipients, federal employees, and active duty military through TRICARE. So moving to the highlights of the benefits plan for 26, the plan will continue to use the Elite Prime Network, and that's the network that includes over 75,000 dentists across the country and at over 275,000 different locations, offices. Moving through the benefits, the summary chart that's included on the right side of the page, Class 1 diagnostic and preventive care services will continue to be covered at 100% after a $50 per person deductible. That deductible is a new amount for next year. But any preventive services, diagnostics, such as your routine exams, bite wing x-rays, and so forth, when you use an in-network provider, you would pay nothing after the $50 deductible. If you choose to go outside of our network, that's when you may run into some more out-of-pocket costs. You may be charged the difference between the billed and the allowed amount, which can increase, as I mentioned, your out-of-pocket costs. So it really is to your advantage to try to utilize a dentist that is in our network. Class 2 basic services. Oh, yep, thank you so much. Class 2 basic services will be covered at 80%, and that is after deductible. The services have increased from you will pay 20% coinsurance, we pay 80%, and that would be your coinsurance responsibility. It was previously 70%, so that is an enhancement from 70 to 80%. Class 3 includes coverage for non-surgical periodontics, and that's treatment for gum disease. That will be covered at 50% after deductible, and that is an increase from 40% coinsurance. Moving along to the remaining services in Class 3, the other services are available at a reduced discounted fee. They are not covered under the benefit plan, but if you are using a provider that has the green box indicator and the save icon, you can see those on our website. Those providers agree to provide non-covered services under your plan, but at a discounted rate. So they agree to accept what United Concordia's allowed amount would have been if that was a covered benefit under the plan. Those discounts can average, on average 30 to 40% off of billed charges. So some significant savings if you are using a provider. We call them amended providers, and they are indicated with that green save icon. We could move to the next slide. Can we advance to the next slide? There we go. All right. If you have any questions about the program, you can choose a number of different ways to reach out to us. So you can call us. Our customer service is available from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. You can utilize our website, unitedconcordia.com, and see general information. You can do a provider search and find out if your dentist is in network. Or if you have set up a My Dental Benefits account on our United Concordia website, you are able to go in and view your specific plan information. You can view your ID card, you can look at claims and see how they were processed. You can do all kinds of things on the website confirm your plan benefits. And there's even an opportunity to chat with a customer service associate while you're online. The other option, if you prefer, you can download our app, and then you have all of that same information on your phone. And it comes in handy, especially if you are at the dentist's office. You can show them a copy of your ID card if they don't have that information. So that concludes the slides that I have for today. And not sure if you want me to address any questions in the chat at this point in time.
We do have a general question that may be beneficial for everyone regarding crowns and bridges coverage under the
Yes,
post-65 plans. If you could speak to that, perhaps. Thank you.
sure. Crowns and bridges are the repairs of crowns and bridges are included in the Class 2 services, which would be subject to the deductible, and then you pay 20% coinsurance. The actual crowns and bridges themselves are not available as a covered benefit, but would be items that are subject to the discounts that are available under the plan.
Okay, thank you. I think that's it for now. We may have some other general questions that we can pose at the end.
Okay, thank you so much, everybody.
Thanks, Prasanna. Next, I'd like to introduce Josh Edgerton. Josh is our representative from the Hartford. The Hartford, as most of you know, is the vendor that manages our life insurance. Josh is going to discuss a program that the Hartford offers and has offered for a while called the Empathy Program. We are highlighting this program and its services as they are offered to our active and retiree population at no cost.
Thank you, Tammy. So today I wanted to focus on our value-added service that we have through our Empathy Program. And this should help those individuals now planning for a loss. It'll also help your beneficiaries towards the end of life with will preparation, funeral planning, and any travel assistance that they may need. And your beneficiaries will then have access to their own will preparation, grief counseling, the funeral plan that you've put in place, helping to write the obituary, which sometimes is very difficult, and estate planning. So I want to move into more of the personalized care and the bereavement services that your beneficiaries would receive. So Empathy itself is available to you on the retiree site. There is a flyer available to you on how to access the program. Again, it's a free service available to you now. To your beneficiaries under the bereavement services, I'm going to walk through what information they'll have access to as you kind of lay out your plan in the Empathy Program. So there is grief counselors, there's licensed social workers available to your beneficiaries and families, your loved ones, to provide some emotional guidance, dealing with the loss. There's some guided meditation as additional help on the site, as well as some self-care tools, some reflection tools. There's workflows that actually walk through loved memories and special events, so that it helps with the grief and emotional aspect of the loss. There's also detailed instructions on how to plan a funeral for your beneficiaries. You have access today to the program itself and can pre-select your funeral arrangements, your funeral plan. It's a very detailed guide that will walk you through specific questions on how to plan your funeral or the funeral for a loved one. And your family members will have access to that funeral arrangement service and plan. So here is just a quick look at our funeral home finder tool. So if you have not selected a funeral home or made arrangements, your beneficiaries will have access to this tool and help find a location suitable for the funeral and make funeral arrangements. One of the most difficult things during a loss is the obituary writing. There is, in the empathy program online, in their online tool, there is an obituary writer, which will help guide. It's a step-by-step guide, again, question and answer, and the responses to those questions will help write an obituary that's suitable as a tribute to the loved one. And it will be ready for publication in minutes, and it will add detail on where locations to publish information. There's also estate administration. So the empathy program does give experts online available to support with estate planning. And I'll talk about account deactivation in a little bit, but this is everything from working through probate, working with your probate officer to handle deeds, how your estate will be ultimately distributed amongst your beneficiaries. There is services in the site itself for you to prepare your own will, but your beneficiaries will also have that same will assistance. So it'll help create their own last wishes. Your will and your document can be created in the empathy program, and that will be available in a document site to your beneficiaries. So by simply going onto the site, putting it in the storage file vault, your online will essentially can be seen by your beneficiaries. And then account deactivation. So a lot of times there's still remaining debt with the estate, or there's programs that you have, memberships that you have, subscriptions that you have on social media that need to be deactivated. Empathy is there to help and will manage all necessary communications and hopefully help avoid any unnecessary charges to the estate. Again, by using the tool and using the program, empathy gives you a step-by-step guide on how to deactivate, or how your beneficiaries would deactivate those memberships and those programs. And then most important, there is an online dedicated care manager that will interact with all family members by phone, email, text, and through the digital app. That dedicated care manager is there to assist all the way through all the multiple steps that I just discussed. And it's a personalized care plan really designed to help execute your wishes. So the care manager does provide an outlet for emotional challenges throughout the process, And again, we have licensed social workers on hand to deal with grief counseling as well. I will say the app itself is very easy to use, extremely intuitive. There is a lot of information on the app itself, everything from probate, will preparation, estate planning, to an online chat feature that helps all of the family members connect. They may be in various locations, and really, instead of meeting together, they can chat and have conversations about the estate in a secure location, which I think is a great feature. I hope that you use these services, and they are free to you and no cost to your beneficiaries. So I hope you see the value in the service.
Josh, real quick, there's a general question here about if these services are covered under the program. Are all of these items in empathy for free, or are there charges throughout?
All the items in empathy are for free, free to you and free to your beneficiary. I will say, will execution, witnessing the will execution, working through probate, or having your deeds on file with your beneficiaries, those items should go through an estate planner. But again, and those services are sort of outside of empathy. An estate planner is a legal, would be a lawyer who has worked in your local area. That lawyer can obviously have a charge, but empathy services, the services that I've talked about today in pre-planning and preparation for end of life, those are all free through the Hartford and our empathy program.
Okay, thank you. We also have questions about where you can find who you have somebody listed as your beneficiary. Where can you find the information for that?
Your beneficiaries, so your beneficiary selection can be done on our BenSelect system, which is accessed through the university's university will give you access to our BenSelect system, and you can see the beneficiaries that are elected. And certainly I would encourage you to make sure that those beneficiaries are accurate and up to date.
There's also a question about green burials. Do you provide information on that?
The care manager, you can interact on the site with the care manager under the empathy program, and they would have more information on that sort of thing. So you should definitely begin to use the app and work with your care manager. That care manager, whomever you interact with, will be assigned throughout the entire process. So really help to tailor your funeral arrangements.
Okay, thank you, Josh. We'll go through the rest of these and perhaps answer at the end, or if you can take a look at the chat as well, and
I will.
maybe answer a couple of these if there's any private questions in here. Same thing for Rosanna. I meant to mention that previously as well for dental. If you can take a peek at the chat if there's anything that came in. Tammy, back to you.
Great. Thanks so much, Josh. Okay, to wrap up our presentations, we have added a guest speaker this year. I'd like to introduce Lisa Scharfstein from Osher Lifelong Learning Institute. Osher is a member-based community of older adults with a focus on community engagement in conjunction with the University of Pitt. Lisa is going to talk to us about Osher, the membership benefits, and how you may even want to get involved as a retiree of Pitt. Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you so much, Tammy. I'm really excited to share information about OLLI at Pitt OLLI is our nickname for Osher Lifelong Learning Institute because that is a mouthful, although you will hear some people just say Osher. But what we are, as Tammy said, is a membership-based community of adults who are interested in learning and curious. And we have been at the University of Pittsburgh for over 20 years now. 2025 marked our 20th year with the university. And we create this dedicated learning environment for adults who are curious, passionate about learning. And we do this through courses and programs that engage the learner and help people connect with each other. So what we offer are non-credit, non-graded courses. We offer our own 5-week courses twice every term. So fall, spring, and summer are 2 5-week sessions. We're just wrapping up our second session of fall this week. And these courses and also lectures and events are offered both online and in person because our community is vast and they have many different preferences in terms of how they learn. Some people love being on our vibrant Oakland campus and be sitting in a classroom with their peers and learning from an instructor in person, and other people care to learn online and don't want to leave the comfort of their home or drive in Oakland or park in Oakland. And I think we can, those of you who may have worked on campus may sympathize with that. So we offer both, and members can choose a combination. Actually, most members do choose a combination of in-person and online learning. So that's the bulk of what we offer, but then we also have other member benefits. We have a weekly newsletter that is distributed to our membership that connects you not just with the things that are happening at the University of Pittsburgh, but also within our program. We also offer a special benefit. Could we go back to the last slide, please? Thank you. We offer a special benefit to be able to audit university classes. So if our short 5-week classes, you can't find the topic you want or you want to learn more deeply, you can audit undergraduate classes and be sitting in on those 16-week learning environments. And again, auditing, just like our own classes, are no grades, no credits, no homework, just learning for the love of learning. So all the best parts of learning without the stressful parts. Being a member with OLLI at Pitt also gives you access to some university resources, library resources, the ability to ride the shuttle, Wi-Fi, and other things like that. We have special interest groups, which are OLLI members who have a common want to practice their Spanish conversation, or we have a science book club, or we have a group of people who live in the South Hills and they have like dinner and coffee hours in the South Hills. So lots of different opportunities in a special interest group, either social or intellectual, to connect with your peers. And then we also provide both local and day trip and international travel. So now if we move to the next slide, you can see some of these examples. Some of our recent lectures were a vaccine update. Upcoming, we have 2 Strikes and a Flood, which is a online lecture. We have a panel discussion about people who were at Woodstock and 2 researchers who talk about the cultural significance of Woodstock. That lecture is actually going to become open to the public, and it is December 15th. So if you want to kind of get a taste of OLLI, you'll be able to attend that lecture. Then we have some local treasures, and our OLLI members will We'll explore these: the Allegheny Observatory, behind the scenes at the Pittsburgh Zoo, a walking tour of Oakland, and many, many more opportunities to connect with the great gems that we have here in Pittsburgh. And then we have international travel opportunities. Our OLLI members just returned from a food and wine tour of Italy. Upcoming in December, one of our instructors, a Pitt faculty member named Orrin James, who's also chair of the Austrian Nationality Room, will be taking a group of OLLI members to the Christmas markets of Vienna and Salzburg, and also exploring Austrian culture, and people are really looking forward to that one. And then upcoming this spring, We have a trip to Ireland, and actually just scheduled for next fall is a trip to Portugal. So these are other outside of the classroom learning opportunities that our members have to continue growing and learning with a nice cohort of peers. So on the next slide, you will see our upcoming dates. We are just about to launch membership for spring 2026. And again, those are 2 5-week sessions of our own classes, although auditing will start a little bit earlier than January 26th because the university starts on January 12th. And then we have our summer dates there as well. Membership registration opens on December 3rd. Course registration opens on December 10th. And as I mentioned, we are a membership-based community, which means that our members pay a membership in order to get all of these learning opportunities and benefits. Right now, we are running a spring-summer bundle where you can get all-inclusive, all the courses I've mentioned, lectures, access to the special interest groups for $175 all-inclusive, or you can just pay for one term, spring or summer, for $150. And more information on our program and on membership can be obtained at our upcoming open house events, which unfortunately I didn't have time to add to a slide, but I will tell you they are in person on December 17th at 1:30 here in Alumni Hall on campus. And then we also have an online open house on January 15th at 3 p.m. So on our final slide, you can see our website, our email, our phone number, where you can get more information about our open house events. You can get more information about our program by looking at our website. And it is a great, great way to transition into retirement. I hear from so many of our members who led very busy work lives and then are retiring, and they need a bridge. They need something to help structure their days or to keep them involved and interested. And some people are perfectly fine figuring that out on their own, but a lot of people really do enjoy our program as a way to engage and stay curious. So, so I encourage you to look at our program as something that really can enrich your life.
We do have a couple
And
questions if I could pose them to you real quick.
absolutely.
We do have somebody asking if spouses or domestic partners can also join Ollie.
Absolutely. We are open to everyone. So actually, you don't even have to be affiliated with the University of Pittsburgh in any way. And you don't even need any kind of college education. Our classes are truly learning for the love of learning. So this is a membership opportunity. So it is open to anyone.
I assume that would also be surviving spouses as well if the retiree has passed away.
Yes, anybody can join our program. And you don't even have to live in Pittsburgh. We have members in 21 different states. Sometimes they just want to stay connected to Pitt, but they live elsewhere. Sometimes they used to live in Pittsburgh and they moved to Florida, they moved to Arizona. So yeah, you can be a member of Ollie at Pitt from anywhere. I do see there's another question. Can you provide a few examples of the Ollie classes? I will tell you that wrapping up, we really have every topic you can imagine: art, art history, literature, yoga, watercolor. The biggest, most popular tend to be history classes, film and music classes. And when I say film and music, we run the gamut from current cinema, Art Deco cinema. We had a course on the evolution of cinema, just films from 1975, music that goes from classical. Right now we have a great Sopranos course going on that's online, to Broadway musical classes, to actually a very popular class this fall was a course on Beyonce, which was taught by a Pitt graduate student who wrote her dissertation on that topic and was requested by our members because they wanted to better connect to the music of their grandchildren. So we really do run the gamut of like serious academic courses to fun, pleasurable courses. Any other questions? I think I hit all the ones I saw about Ollie.
Great.
Somebody is
Thank-
asking if you miss an online class, I guess. Are there any chance to record it? I think that's the last one. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did not see that one. Right now, our policy is not to record our classes. They are all synchronous. So if you're in person, obviously you're in person. And if it's online, the instructor is teaching in same time. So they are not recorded. But again, there's no penalty if you miss class. There's no penalty if it's a literature class and you didn't do the reading. It's just for your benefit and enjoyment and enrichment. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Lisa. I will also make mention too, we have a link to Osher now posted on our retiree website as well. So if you go to our retiree website, you can easily get to Osher from that as well. Okay, thank you so much for all the presenters. Our next steps are going to go over some deadlines for open enrollment. Next steps. So again, just to reiterate, post-OE open enrollment is running right now, November 5th through December 3rd. The changes that you make now will go into effect for January 1st of 2026. If you are not making any changes to your benefits, no action is necessary at all. You do not need to submit or do anything. If you are making any changes or need to make any changes, whether it be to medical, dental, or vision, this is your time to make them. Changes must be made to BMS on an enrollment form no later than December 4th of 2025. If you're making a medical change, you also have to complete a separate medical carrier enrollment change. So if you make a medical change, you first submit this to BMS, and then you will receive a separate medical carrier change that you will also need to submit, just like you did when you first enrolled. The medical carrier change must be completed before the deadline of December 31st of 2025. All these applications with the carriers have to be completed before January 1st of 2026. You can find on our retiree website summary guide information, cost information, all the information you need about the medical, the dental, and the vision plans for 2026. Okay, so how to enroll. So this year we've taken greater steps to align with the university's sustainability plan, and we moved OE online. Again, if you're not making any changes, there's nothing you need to do online. If you are making a change, and that again is a change either to your medical, dental, or vision, you will need to visit the online portal through BMS. The website is shown here, the UPMC Health Plan portal. You're directed here, which takes you right to BMS, and you'll have to fill out the appropriate form based on what plan you're already enrolled in. There are 4 different plans that are options. It's either a DDB plan, a full premium plan, no medical plan, or an old plan, as we discussed before. If you're not familiar with what plan you're enrolled in, you can simply call BMS, and BMS can absolutely assist you with what plan you're enrolled in. Again, if you're making a change to your medical, you would select your new medical plan, submit to BMS, and they would also send you the carrier will also send you a separate medical application that you will also need to send back to the carrier before the end of the year. So December 3rd is your deadline for submitting to BMS enrollment. And then December 31st is your deadline for the medical applications. If you have any challenges with submitting anything online, you can absolutely call BMS's 800 number. They can walk you through any questions you have with enrollment. A couple reminders. Every year in the October timeframe, the university sends out a Medicare Part D credible coverage letter. These letters are required every year to be sent out to anyone over the age of 65 enrolled in university coverage. These letters are strictly stating that you are enrolled in a credible coverage. No action is required. We just like to remind people that these are required letters that we need to send out to everybody that's actively enrolled over the age of 65. Tuck the letters away. No action needed. Nothing needs to be done on them. They're just required for us to send them out each year. If there's any information that you need regarding open enrollment, you can go to our retiree website, again, for our summary guide information. You can contact the University Pittsburgh Benefits Department. You can submit an inquiry. We're happy to help you through the Benefits Department, or you can contact Benefit Management Services. They can guide you through enrollment if you need any assistance. We've provided resource information here for both of our contacts as well. Okay, I think we can move into some Q&A. And we can engage some of our vendors.
Okay, Tammy, we do have a question about defining what a medical carrier means. They're saying, do you mean your, I guess your PCP or specialist? What does that mean to say medical carrier?
Sure, the medical carrier would be either Highmark or UPMC. So depending on what medical plan you're enrolling in, if it was a UPMC plan, you would get a medical application from UPMC. If you were enrolling in the Highmark plan, you would get a medical application from the carrier Highmark.
Okay, we do have some questions for Josh regarding life insurance. Josh, somebody's asking if there is help in creating a living will.
There is help on the site creating a living will and end of life planning. So the site itself will walk you through all of the necessary information. What does your current estate look like? What are the items that you'd like to leave? Who you'd like to leave them with? Your actual plan for the funeral. So the site does have living will preparation. Yes.
Okay, we have somebody asking about life insurance costs for individuals or couples. I'm assuming potentially that's in addition to what the university offers for retiree life insurance, perhaps something they can get on their own, since obviously we don't have spouse coverage for retirees.
Right.
So I don't know if there's anything in addition if they were to go through the Hartford directly, if you're able to speak to that at all.
We do have local, we do have local agents in the field that will help you write individual policies. I would suggest that you look for a local Hartford agent.
Josh, could you also discuss how they can check in on their beneficiary designations or how to update those?
Yeah, I did. I will post that in the Q&A. It is access to the Ben Select site, which we have set up for the university. So I'm working on getting that link, and I will post it in the comments.
Okay, this question would be probably more for Terry from BMS. Would you be able to explain where somebody could find the amount of their life insurance? How do they get that information? How would they receive it? What coverage they have?
You can definitely call into BMS and we'll be able to tell you if you have your Cobra Point login, you would be able to see that amount there as well.
Okay, Terry, also while we have you, how would somebody determine the amount in their of their DDB credits, how much they have in their bank?
Again, they can call into member services. They can also, if they have ever logged into the DDB portal, they can log in and see the amount of their benefits there. If they need help logging in to their portal. They can call member services, or they can shoot an email over to the PIT BMS docs, and we will provide you with your username and a temporary password.
This question would be for Bill Thomas. Bill, I think you're on the call. Is that correct, from Vision?
Yes.
So we have a question here from Mr. John Kozar, who I think you probably know and remember, asking about how to obtain Vision member ID cards. Is that obtained online, elsewhere? The provider cannot find the information through their system.
Yeah, the Vision ID cards typically aren't required at the provider's office, but if you did want one, you can call customer service and they can get one for you, and have that sent out to your home. And that number is 1-833-EYELIFE. Providers will typically try to find your coverage based on your address and your date of birth.
Thanks, Bill. Could both UPMC and Highmark, again, I know there's been a couple questions in the chat and we've answered some of them, but it just seems like a hot topic right now. So if both UPMC and Highmark could discuss where the formulary could be located for both those health plans, please.
Yep, so I've been posting the UPMC link to a lot of the questions in the chat. If you also go, I posted our dedicated member services line as a comment under that. I also have the link to the formulary. You just select employer group from the dropdown, and then you'll be able to download the 2025 or 2026 formularies. If you do have specific questions around, like, how much will my drug specifically cost? And you can always call that dedicated PIT member services number. They will be able to see exactly what your provider has prescribed in the past and tell you how much your drug will cost, if there's any changes, or even like how much will apply to your 2026 out-of-pocket maximum that Maggie was talking about, how typically you reach that before you're actually spending that amount of money.
With Highmark. So I actually just answered or attempted to answer in the Q&A, but you would go to myhighmark.com. This is a Medicare formulary. The name of the formulary is called the incentive formulary. You can also contact customer service at the telephone number on the back of your card. There's also a number for non-members that's listed on the benefit grids that we provide to the university to distribute.
Thank you. And along the same lines, could both of you also explain how individuals would find what tier their medication is, if their medication is included on the formulary? Would it just be calling the dedicated member service number on their ID card, or is there any self-service that they can do to find their prescription on the formulary?
Yep, they can so if you utilize the link online, if you hit Control F, you can search your specific drug name and it will show you exactly which tier it's on. Again, because like the dosage and like where you fill it, like those things do greatly impact how much you're paying per month. If you do want to know that specific cost, you can always call the PIT dedicated member services line and they will absolutely help you out with anything you need.
Yeah, along the same lines for Highmark, you would find the tiers and the associated copays. Listed on the formulary directly. You can contact customer service, the prospective member line that's listed on the benefit grid, or you could use our website, myhighmark.com.
Thank you. And I've seen a couple questions as well asking when the physical paper copies will be sent. So the university did and a green initiative switched to digital forms this year. But Terry, if someone did want a paper printed copy, are they able to request that, or what would be the process for that?
Yes, they can call or email and request a paper copy. There are also paper copies available on the HIT website and the BMS website where the online forms are available.
Harry, could you also address confirmation and DDB balances after the first of the year?
Yes, so once open enrollment is over, mid-December, we'll be sending you confirmation of your new plans. We'll send the confirmation letters to every retiree if you've made changes or not. There's also going to be a DDB balance confirmation sent sometime in January, letting you know what your balance was as of 12/31.
Terry, could you also explain the process of how the DDB credits work for any premiums that exceed the DDB credits? Like, will their bank be used first? Will they get a bill? How will that work for those premiums?
If you currently have an excess of DDB credits in the DDB bank, we will automatically take that overage amount and apply and take it from your DDB credits. The only time we would actually bill you is if you have depleted all of your DDB credits or you don't have any excess left. Like if you're a new retiree and you haven't accrued any DDB credits, we would be billing you.
Thank you. Scrolling through the questions, let me see here. Kate, is there anything else you see that I didn't get to yet?
I do see one about the DDB plan reimbursing for Plan D cost. I think they mean Part D, Medicare Part D costs, in addition to a separate Medigap plan purchase outside of the University Supplemental Plan. Tammy, do you want to answer that one about what the DDB pays for, or covers rather?
Sure. The DDB plan reimburses strictly for medical reimbursement plan only. So anything outside of that, if this is Plan D is in the Medicare world is referencing a prescription plan, so it wouldn't cover prescription coverage reimbursement.
Outside of the university, since the university's plans,
correct.
Right, have the university's plans all cover prescription drug coverage, right?
Correct.
Just to clarify, yes.
I've seen a couple questions too about those that are still actively working and not yet retired. Tammy, can you advise, do they need to enroll now? Do they wait when they retire? How does that process work for those retiring in the near future?
I'm sorry, repeat that again, Britt.
It would be for those, so they're still actively working as of today, but they have a retirement date in the future. So whether it be December, January, February coming up, do they enroll now during open enrollment? Do they wait for their retirement? Could you just explain the process of those that are not yet retired, but will be retiring in the near future?
Yeah, it all depends on their retirement date. So if they're a new retiree, they will get new enrollment packet. So they would just need to wait for their actual enrollment packet information. So it really just depends on their actual retirement date. If they have any questions on that, I would say contact BMS just to verify that BMS has their actual retirement date. Because it can really vary depending on, what date they're actually retiring as to when their retirement benefits would actually begin.
Thank you.
I think there's a question that we could perhaps ask Bill here for vision. Bill, there's a question about, it says Medicare has vision benefits that overlap with the vision plan. Can you use both plans to help pay for glasses? His optician or her optometrist say that they can't.
That's correct. It wouldn't be beneficial to use both plans in the same transaction. The better way to approach that would be to use one plan for, a pair of glasses and maybe use the other one for prescription sunglasses or contact lenses, or a second pair of glasses. You wouldn't want to combine the two plans and use them on one pair of glasses or contacts. That would not be beneficial to the member.
Looking through the questions. I see
You
a
have a
question.
question, maybe the,
Okay.
oh, go ahead, Brett. Yep.
I just saw, just for Tammy too, I saw a question asking what the DDB plan mentioned earlier. So for those that are not yet retired, Tammy, could you just do a very quick high-level summary of what the DDB plan is and what that refers to?
Sure. The DDB plan is it's a background credit plan that helps to offset and pay for your medical post 65 medical plans. It doesn't go toward anything. It has no monetary value. And if you want more information too about the DDB plan itself too, I would say visit our retiree web page. There's a specific link on the DDB plan itself, its inception, and how it works and how it's used for the post 65 retirees.
Question for Terry. Can BMS make open enrollment changes over the phone for retirees?
We normally would not take them over the phone. We would like you to complete the election form with BMS. If you are changing your medical plans, you can, however, complete the carrier application over the phone with the UPMC.
Question for Patsy regarding UPMC coverage abroad. Would you be able to explain how coverage works abroad as far as emergency coverage or a longer term stay if somebody is there for a couple of months?
So if someone is abroad and they have an emergency, we have Assist America. So Assist America will coordinate any care that you need while abroad, even like let's say your luggage gets delayed and you have your prescriptions in that luggage, they will coordinate to get as long as you're 100 miles from home, they will coordinate you to get your medications. They will, if you need someone to fly out to be with you, they'll coordinate your travel home. If you're abroad and need emergency services, that's also covered. If let's say you're traveling, you'd like to go down to Florida for a few months for the year, on the HMO plan, we do have a travel network. So you can see providers in network while you're in any of the Sunshine States. Member services can give specific details, or if you want to see a specific provider, they will actually coordinate making the appointment and everything for you right on the line. We have the PPO, which obviously you have out-of-network benefits, and then the National Comp Plan, which pays secondary to Original Medicare, so you can see any provider who accepts Original Medicare.
Okay, we've got about 5 minutes left here in the presentation. Tammy, question I'm going to pose back to you.
Mhm.
Do retirees automatically have life insurance, or do they need to enroll for that coverage?
Sure. Yep. So the retirees automatically get the life insurance. It's just automatically gone over as from their basic coverage over to when they become a retiree. They get the $15,000 policy automatically. So we do encourage them as a retiree though to follow up and manage their beneficiaries and double check everything as a retiree. But it is an automatic process.
And
Okay,
I
question back to Terry.
just posted how to access the beneficiaries for university retirees and also the customer service number if they have questions. for the retirees.
Thank you for posting that, Josh.
Terry, there's a question here that I know that you did catch and answered individually, but I'm going to pose it back to you just as it may benefit the entire group. As far as the carrier applications go, do you need to complete another one to go from one plan to another, even if it's the same UPMC plan, one to another, or Highmark?
Yes, if you're changing any plans, even if it's with the same carrier, we do need you to complete a separate carrier application for that specific plan.
Rosanna, I'm going to pose this question to you regarding dental coverage. If we have another individual that retired from Pitt, but they are working at another institution, if they use the current employer's dental insurance, does their Pitt retiree coverage still cover a percentage of what the other one doesn't?
Yes, I am going to take that back to our coordination of benefits team to verify for sure. Usually in situations where somebody is covered under a spouse's plan, the employer-sponsored plan would be primary. But in a case where this member is technically both could serve as primary coverage, I want to verify and validate that with our internal team, and I can get back to the benefits team to confirm for sure.
Okay, thank you. Terry, there's a question here regarding the BMS portal and vision coverage listed as Fashion Vision, MetLife, and they're asking if it's the same coverage as the Davis Vision by MetLife. I think that probably was meant to be changed, I would assume. I'll let you speak to that, though, as far as how it displays in the system.
Yes, so Fashion Vision is the current vision, so it's the same.
Tammy, we have a couple people asking if the slides and recording will be available after this presentation. Could you please advise on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we announced that maybe at the beginning, maybe some joined us a little bit late, but definitely a copy of the recording will be placed on the retiree website for everyone to review. It'll take probably about an hour or two to get it uploaded.
Thank you.
Looks like we're winding down on time here. I do have a question for Josh regarding life insurance as far as burial costs or burial benefits as far as for the life insurance program.
So burial costs and the benefits of the actual funeral home, those need to be paid by the estate. But the arrangements for those, by working on the site, you can locate the most cost-effective approach to your funeral plan. The service for the planning is free, but ultimately the cost for the services that are rendered are payable to the funeral home themselves.
Okay, looks like we're nearing the end of our time here today. So we're going to do one final question. There are some additional questions here. There was quite a few coming in, so we were trying to get to as many as we could. So the ones that aren't answered here, as Tammy indicated in the beginning, we will respond to offline separately. Additionally, Tammy, I believe you mentioned that there were some questions submitted ahead of time as well. If those we didn't get to, I believe those are being addressed separately too. Is that correct?
That's correct. And we do have some emails for that. So if we have the emails, we can definitely reach out to them directly.
Okay, so one final question here I'm going to pose to Terry, and then Tammy, I'll let you wrap it up. If somebody was choosing to drop their dental and or vision plan, what is the procedure for doing so?
We would just ask you to also complete the election forms online. You can just select waive for whatever plans you're changing. So if it's dental and vision, just select waive both of those and you can submit them.
Okay, thank you for that. Tammy, back to you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for joining us this year. I hope the information was very helpful for everyone this year, and wishing everybody happy holidays and great new year. Thanks again.
Thank you.